A good chance that you've heard of Flume, and a minuscule chance that you've heard of Matmos, although their gimmicks serve to grind up against you occasionally like the buckle on a worn-out belt. You'd hope for musicians of this kind to be able to progress where electronic music can go when they play with sounds that beg to be twisted and stretched into shapes like chicken nuggets, except these ones are a lot more satisfying to digest instead of giving you constipation. I like a good Flume project. I'm one of those people that thought Skin was a good album, taking Flume's infatuation with the genre of wonky future-based trap music and conjuring some excellent pop songs from it all, while still managing to unleash a bunch of fluttering, mind-bending soundscapes that also satisfied my hunger for genuinely glitchy experiments. One of the best tracks of that year was called Wallfuck. I always wondered what could erupt from the capsule of potential, given that Flume could want to take these glitchy, wonky experiments to the next level, or at least focus on them more. This mixtape is basically that all the way through, fluidly hopping from one figure to the next like the world's smoothest connect the dots champion, and no track gives up the possibility of your ears being smacked with dense, icy synthesizers that feel like an ice lolly dropped down the back of your t-shirt and snare drums that smack like big scary drum. My favorite aspect here is that Flume is more aware of his potential than most. A manifesto for the rest of the album to unfold actually begins the album with a multi-layered sample of what may as well be an intro for his podcast if he had one, but you opened it in multiple tabs by accident.
The artwork to listen and save.
Hey, this is Flume.
Hi, this is Flume.
This is Flume.
Hi, you're listening to my new single, and you're listening to Hi, this is
It's like saying this is not going to be easygoing material from Mr. Flim Flam. The album stylistically is Flume by the numbers, but I'm glad that by the numbers is applied to fun experiments as opposed to streamlined cart rides with Beck in the log flume of aquatic ennui. In other words, everything sounds awesome and fun. I could name the skippity trip-hop twists on Sophie's Is It Cold in the Water that managed to yet enhance the passion that she originally channeled into that track, or the melodic scaling that sounds like an ice climb on Jewel, JPEG Mafia's fun bouncy verse that snaps over the time of how to build a relationship so well that I wish the second half of the track wasn't some vacuous shoutouts. I was legit skipping to this on the way home one Tuesday afternoon, and now I have to hear a thank you card being read out. I'm really pleased with this Flume tape in the same way that I usually am with a bowl of chicken and corn soup. It's sweet, it's satisfying, but it doesn't overstay its welcome. You can get through it pretty comfortably without feeling like you've been overloaded. It seems like the guy even did try to write songs that actually progress into a new space, and because each moment is like a vignette that leads onto the next track, it doesn't have much of a real ending unfortunately, but at least you can hit that replay button and wiggle your shoulders like a loose tooth. I don't have a gigantic amount to say about Matmos here because this album is very much an in-the-moment flex of creativity and bouncy house fun, except the fun is made of a material that simultaneously supports and degrades our well-being and future on this planet that we reside on. I would have found it humorously ironic if this album was as throwaway as an ice cream wrapper, but thankfully it's got the sturdiness of a drink bottle, and not one of the flimsy ones you get at festivals. One of the ones that last you throughout the year. Yeah. Each track gives you a description of what you'll hear, and I've been pretty apprehensive to the gimmicks of each Matmos album, the ones that tend to sculpt IDM pieces out of the sound of surgical equipment, washing machines, or medieval instrumentation, but if you're able to channel your inner Orteca with a very specific sound palette, there's actually something to go at. I admire the creativity that Matmos take with every album, but here it's even better. Tracks here have genuine catchy rhythms, very nice melodies even slither into earshot, and while the album isn't consistently engaging, it's easy to appreciate even the most uneventful of moments, like at the very end, and still think, I wonder where that's sampled from. There's a very therapeutic concept of creative process that I'm able to find common between both projects that I've talked about here, enough to warrant a 7 out of 10 for both, but especially with this new Matmos project, it's cool because it's one of those albums where the concept has you constantly thinking about the process of creation for each track, making you pay attention to details to make it a truly rewarding experience. It's fun. The extending the plastosphere interlude reminds me of a Super Mario Sunshine level, the singing tube makes me think of pollution that's visible on beaches every day, thermoplastic riot shield fittingly sounds like furious unrest and discomfort, with that really shrill screeching that is cleverly reshaped into a new atmosphere, a lot like most plastic when it's manufactured into the everyday product. It does sound factory-like, but with a human spirit behind it, and what you make of that, be it awe or unsettlement, is up to you. I personally think the whole thing is a bit creepy. I don't like packaging hanging around my desk. Reminds me of how quickly I run out of super glue.